Hey, in this episode of T-Shirt Business Podcast, we linked up with Allan from A-Dubb Productions. In this episode, we touched up on a lot of things, touched up on business credit, working from home, embroidery, and just some of the struggles that you could face as a business owner. And Allan got some major plans for the future, and we talked about it here. So make sure to listen to this episode. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of T-Shirt Business Podcast. Today, I have a special friend with me that I met through the internet, and then we linked while we was in Atlantic City at a trade show. Today, I have A-Dubb with me, Allan. Hey, Allan, so we could start off the podcast. Tell the people a little bit about you, and then we'll get into it.
So my name is Allan Wade. I am influencer, entrepreneur, and I have a company called A-Dubb Productions, and I specialize in embroidery, amongst other things. But yeah.
Allan, you say you are an influencer. You are a major influencer. So
I appreciate it.
You came into, like, I would say, into my vision or into my sight, I'm gonna say about like 3 months ago, right? When I first met you in Long Beach. We didn't get a chance to talk. And then I looked you up on YouTube. I was like, whoa, this guy's massive. Yeah. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this whole YouTube thing that you do. What is this thing about? What do you do there? And how'd you get it to be so big?
So everything that is big or appears to be big, right, comes with time for most people. You know, some people have luck and they, their channels blow up, but that wasn't my case. My channel started off small, and over time it grew. I really started taking it serious about maybe like 3 years ago. And the main thing that I can say that helped my channel grow and that kept me doing what I'm doing right now is the ability to help people, the ability to see a problem that people might be having and assist them with it, right? And the main thing that I focus on my channel is teaching people how to supplement their income through not only the t-shirt business, but the garment decorating business. And as I'm growing, I'm phasing into the garment creating business because now I'm sewing. I'm taking sewing classes and I'm sewing. So I want to teach people not just to decorate, but to also make their clothing. It's an empowering thing. So yeah, I started with my mother actually came up to me one day and she just asked me, hey, do you think you can find a company to make my brother some shirts for the crew on the ships? Because my uncle has ships. A lot of my family's in the boating industry, I guess you can call it. We're from the West Indies. And so I said, yeah, well, there's a device that I saw on the internet called the Silhouette Cameo. Instead of me finding someone to create the shirts, why don't we go half on this device? You pay half, I pay half, and we buy this device, and I can make the shirts, because I was always good with Photoshop, Illustrator. And at that time, I think I was fresh out of Philadelphia, the Art Institute of Philadelphia, and I had just taken my Illustrator classes and all that. So all that was fresh on my mind. So we went half on the machine. She agreed. We went half on the machine. And when I did an unboxing video of it, and as I started setting it up, I ran into some problems and realized that the machine came with no instructions. So as I was solving these issues and figuring out how to run the machine and operate the machine, I would make videos to help other people with that same problem. And I would get questions and I would make videos to answer those questions. And the journey started that way. But really the whole YouTube thing started off with me making music, right? So my channel was a music channel. I was posting music videos, and it grew into what it is now, which is primarily embroidery, heat transfer vinyl, sublimation, DTG. And, now I'm getting a 2-needle embroidery machine and going into the more so teaching people how to operate their business from a legal standpoint, because I think as an entrepreneur, a lot of people start making money or start generating money, or they don't know the whole legal side, and there's no playbook for the legal side of entrepreneurship, or even the t-shirt game, whatever you want to call it.
Business credit. Yeah, let's talk about that. Continue talking about that. How are you helping people with that right now?
So it was trial and error for me. I learned some stuff by watching some guys on YouTube, just like everybody else. And I started applying these things to my business so I can legitimize things, because When you go to do something of significance in a real life basis and you don't have a traditional job, you need to prove that you're able to purchase these things. You need proof of funds. Banks want to see proof of funds, right? And if you're not doing taxes, if there's no money trail, then you can't buy anything, you can't do anything. So it's really, really important as an entrepreneur that people do certain things, like, after you form your LLC, start a payroll service, pay yourself out of your LLC. A lot of there's, like I said, there's no playbook, and it might sound complex because I'm throwing all these ideas at people, but it's really not complex. And it's up to you as a business owner to really know these things, or to learn these things and start implementing these things so your whole business can be successful. And in essence, I think people should think of their business as like a whole separate person. Like, consider your business a person, especially when you form your business, you get your LLC, you get your EIN number, and you start building your business credit. It feels like I am two people, because what you ultimately want to do is run all your, I don't want to say this and get people in trouble, because if you do this the wrong way, you could really screw yourself up. As an entrepreneur, you kind of work 24 hours a day. You kind of don't stop, especially if you're doing something that you're passionate about. If you're doing something that you would be doing anyway, like as a hobby, like I am, right? Then you don't stop. Like, even at nighttime, I'm having ideas. I get up in the morning, I'm ready to go, see if I can put this new design and digitize it and embroider out, right? So it's fun to me. So you never stop. So in essence, all your expenses now become business expenses because you're working 24 hours a day. So you want to be careful. You want to talk to seek financial consulting, but to make sure you don't get in any trouble. But pretty much everything you do can be a business expense one way or another. And you won't know this, but it's up to you to find out. So we just segued a whole away from
Hey
the
man,
whole
bring
t-shirt game.
it. I love it.
Yeah, but these things are important. These things are what will determine whether you make it to the next level or not. Because let's face it, you can't make it to the next level unless your business is fully legitimized, right? And you form the payroll services, you understand how it works, and then you find out how you can outsource and hire employees. And for the longest, I had a problem with doing things myself.
Yeah.
And it's really important to understand that even though you're passionate about something and you want things done a certain way, you can't grow unless you start building a team and you start getting other people to do things for you, right? You're going to be in the same spot because you can only do but so much. You're an individual. So if you want your business to grow, you have to start outsourcing certain aspects of your business and start getting other people to do it so that you can start nurturing the business and running the business as opposed to operating the business.
Yeah.
So,
Man, like you said, you went into a whole lot there. And I think we're gonna touch a little bit into some of those because I actually want to see, like, because I know a lot. I went through a lot of these problems that you talked about.
I'm still going through. I'm still working it out, but I'm still learning, as a matter of fact. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, when did you start? Like when did you, if you had to put like an official date when you started like your T-shirt situation, when would that be?
around the time where I started taking YouTube seriously, I'd say about 2 to 3 years ago. 2 to 3 years
Okay.
ago. But what's interesting is I formed my LLC in 2008 because I knew I had the mind for it, but I didn't know how to do it. Because, like I
Got
said, there's
it.
no game plan for this. So while everybody was just doing whatever they wanted to do, like, I was focused initially when I uploaded my first YouTube video on music. And I
Yeah.
know I wanted to say, hey, how can A-Dubb Productions be a music label, right? And the only way to make it official and make it, have ownership over it is to, and I looked it up, is get an LLC, A-Dubb Productions LLC. So I went and I formed my LLC back in 2008. Didn't know what to do with it. Had no idea what to start establishing credit or anything. But I just formed it, and that worked to my benefit because now, like I said, 2 to 3 years ago, when I started looking into things more and figuring out what can I do with this LLC, I was able to get proof for credit easier because my LLC was formed, had aged for so long. So right now I have more credit available on the business side than on the personal side. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I think it's a good thing because what you guys are going to find is it's seems to me like companies never turn down business credit applications. Like you almost always get it as long as you go about doing things the right way, like getting your trade lines before you actually apply for credit cards, net 30 accounts. As long as you do those and you wait a couple months, then you could just get credit like crazy. It's ridiculous. And then when you start using it and use it responsibly, of course, you don't go about and buy crazy stuff. You
Yeah.
invest back into your business and use the funds from the business to pay on and you have to make it make sense. You got to be responsible. This is not for people that are going to go spend money on dumb stuff or not use those funds specifically for the business and not be able to make those payments, because essentially you're just destroying your business right there. So once I was able to do that, man, it's like it's I'm still like, wow, this
you
crazy.
actually, because I know a lot of folks that's been in business for a long time and they don't know anything about this business credit thing that you're talking about. So you actually are doing an advanced move early on in your journey that a lot of people, it takes them a real long time to figure out. This whole thing about building business credit, like establishing trade lines and stuff like that, just putting accounts into your business profile. Like you doing that, you think that's like minor. It's not. It's actually a major play right there. Just so we can know a little bit about you. So I went back, whenever I do these podcasts, I go and do my little research, right?
Yeah.
So I did my little research. You mentioned it earlier. I mean, you was an entertainer. You was like a musician.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
So not to blow my own horn, but like I think I made a little bit of noise when I was a musician because I was able to do some things. I was able to do some things that I think a lot of people don't realize that they can do as an independent artist with no backing and stuff like that. I started off, and my reason for making music videos was to create a visual so people can hear my music.
Yeah.
And around the time when I was making music, YouTube had like pretty much just been created. Like YouTube had just launched. Like maybe like YouTube was like 3 years old. It was like the third year. Yeah. So I started uploading videos called In the Booth, where me and my friends would just be in my studio and we just, be playing around and stuff like that. And then I went to my first music video and I uploaded that. And the whole concept was for people to be able to hear my music, create a visual, right? So I thought to myself, how can I make this bigger? So I'm looking around and what works, what's everybody doing? I'm like, everybody's putting out flyers. Around the time flyers were big and posters were big. And that's back in the day when you can put posters on telephone poles and stuff. So I got with this company called Disc Makers, and I got a bunch of posters made for this album that I had coming out. And every day, like before work, after work, and even during work, because I had the little small, I think they're 4x6 posters, and I had the big ones. Like, so I would go around the city. I would choose a section of the city and I would just go put posters up on telephone poles. Yeah. And while I was at work, I would take the little 4x6s and I would put them in the seat of the train, because I was a conductor. I worked on the trains. So I would put them in the seat back so that when you sit down, when passengers sit down at the train, they would see this little poster in the seat back, and they put, it was attractive. They'll pick it up and hopefully they'll research it and go check out the music, which was on. Yeah. I was able to put my music on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon through this company called Disc Makers. But ultimately, I say all this to say that as an independent artist, I did pretty well. Like I was young at the time, so I blew a lot of money. I was able to buy my greatest accomplishment, which is ridiculous. Now that I hear myself saying it, right? I bought an SL 500, a Mercedes-Benz. And I think at the time I was like maybe 26 years old. So I was just doing ridiculous stuff with money. That's what a
26-year-old do.
Yeah. I look back now and think of all the money that I wasted just buying chains and dumb stuff. But I'm glad that I did it, so that I won't do it now with my business. Now that I got that out of my system, like I know what to do and what not to do. And I'm glad I, got a chance to play around with it and not get in trouble legally, just, because it's easy to mess up your business. Because I was doing everything on my personal side. So,
yeah. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about your setup now. So from what I see, is your setup at home?
It is at home. I'm currently looking for a building, but it's tough to find right now.
Yeah, so your setups at home and then your shop. What do you have in your shop equipment wise? Because I know you do a few services, right? You could do the sublimation, you do the embroidery, you do the DTG. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So let's run down equipment. So right here next to me, as a matter of fact, I have a Brother SE600. This is sewing and embroidery machine combo. Let me pull it over here so you guys can get a little glimpse of that. It's a sewing and embroidery machine combo, right?
Nice.
And I recently purchased 6 of these machines because I want to do team builders. I plan on doing team builders and doing live personal trainings. So this is the machine that I started off with when I started embroidering.
Okay.
It's the least expensive functional machine that I got. It's Brother SE600 sewing and embroidery machines. What else do I have? I have a Sawgrass SG500, Sawgrass SG1000, a Epsom EcoTank 15,000, which I never even put ink in it.
Yeah.
And those 2 Sawgrass machines are sublimation machines. The Epsom 15,000 is a regular Epsom printer that a lot of people like to convert to sublimation by just putting sublimation ink in it. But I've never converted it because I don't need it because I have the 2 Sawgrasses, but I just wanted it because it was the hottest item out. So I got that. I also have, previous to the ET 15,000, there was an Epsom 7720. I have that, which is not converted either. So all that's sitting over there. And I have a white toner printer, which is the Luminaris from Racoma. I have a DTG machine, a Ricoh R1000. I have 2 EM1010s, which is the multi needles from Racoma. I have about 8 or 9 heat presses.
Whoa.
I have a Racoma MT1501. Yeah, I got a lot of heat presses, man. I got a lot of heat presses. I'm addicted to investing back into the business because they're all tax write-offs. And what you have to realize with your business is that's why it's really, really important to invest back into your business, because if you don't invest back into your business at the end of the year, you're just going to give the money back to the government.
Gotcha.
So if you can, it's to your benefit to invest in your business, to buy advertisements, to re-up on your supplies that you need.
Yeah.
Because if you're making money, you need to be spending money. Because if you're not spending money at the end of the year, you're supposed to claim that money. Eventually, if you don't know what you're doing, I want to say, eventually you'll get caught up and you have IRS issues, and you don't want those issues. So either you're going to spend money or you're going to pay money in taxes. So you try to offset those taxes by showing that, hey, I had this business expense. So I bought my GraphTech. Like, that's another device I have at GraphTech. So you invest in your business, and that grows your business because you're able to offer more services. You're able to show clients how to use these different machines. In my case, sublimation oven. That's another one of my items that I have. I got a bunch of stuff that I didn't even name. A Juki serger, bunch of stuff, man. I've sent stuff to the islands. I have one of these Brother SE600s in the islands. I have 2 heat presses in the islands that I sent over. So when I go over there, bunch of business stuff, business items, and I'm not done yet. So it's just the beginning.
That's awesome, man. So, like, in your business, so let's say I'm new, I'm starting out like a home shop. And by the way, I love home shops because I love home shop because 1 is home, 2, my expenses are low.
Exactly.
Like, if I could stay at a home shop, I would. It ain't all.
I mean, yes and no. I'm gonna tell you why not.
Okay.
It's perfect because it's at your house. So when you want to do something, everything's right there. Your stuff is right there. And I'm a real advocate of, but where's my stuff? Because I love my gear. I love being able to have access, sitting on the couch, have a thought, boom, I can just go execute that thought.
Gotcha.
But from a business perspective, here's another piece of advice I can give you. When you form your entity, as soon as you're ready to get serious, make sure, if you're not in a position to get an actual location for your business, get what's called a virtual space. It's worth it. It might seem expensive when you're starting off, but it's worth it. Reason being is, when you get in a position and you build your trade lines and now you want to apply for credit, creditors are going to give you more money if you have an actual location or a virtual location. So when you stay at home, like I am right now, I don't have a physical location. So with my last transaction, I'm financed a new Racoma 2-head MT 2002 8S. That's what it's called. It's an embroidery machine that has 2 heads on it and 20 needles, and it's Wi-Fi, all latest greatest technology. But they gave me, when I went to finance it, they gave me just the amount for that specific machine. Now the creditor came back and told me that, because we talked a little bit, and you know, people are human aside from business. After business was done, we started talking, and I was, you know, telling, just like we're doing right now, telling him a little about the business. And you know, he had said his kids were interested in stuff like that, but he told me that if I would have had a location, that they wanted to approve me for $220,000. And the only reason why I didn't get approved for $220,000 is because I didn't have a physical location. So
Gotcha.
that right there can tell you the benefits of having a location or a virtual, or paying monthly for a virtual location. So that's important, because you want to be able to have funds to make a major move, if that major move can bring you a major return. Because if you're borrowing that much money, and if you're going to use that much money, then you have to be able to pay back
Yeah, you gotta bring that
that
thing
money
back.
over time.
You gotta bring that thing back.
That part is really, really important. So, but it's good as a business owner to have that amount of money available, because now your wheels really start to turn, right? Now you start
Yeah.
thinking, okay, how can I really make this thing bigger? You know, because now I have these funds available to me, right? You don't have the funds. People got to understand this credit thing. You don't have it. It's not yours, right? But it's available for you to use, right? Because you got to pay it back. But the
Yeah.
goal is to use those funds, to get those funds to bring you a greater return, so that you can put the money in your pocket, you know, and you can spend more money to grow your business. It's all a circle, but it's fun. It's like a puzzle that you got to put together. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah, man. Embroidery. A lot of people like.
Yeah. So your embroidery game is crazy.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Crazy.
Wow, I
Right?
appreciate it.
I see the sweatshirts that you made. You know, my whole situation was screen printing. I dabbled a little bit into embroidery, but it wasn't really my thing. So, but for you, like the shirt that you're wearing right now, it looks amazing.
I appreciate
So
it.
let's talk a little bit about embroidery. How'd you get into it? How to even
So,
some of the tips of like production embroidery and stuff like that.
so with embroidery, like I started the journey, of course, like I said, with the vinyl cutter machine. And I thought to myself, how can I make this thing better? How can I produce a more quality product? Something that's going to get people to spend some money on the product, right? I can charge more money so that I can, you know, make more money. So
You would say embroidery is that compared to other type of printing or a type of decoration?
Definitely. Embroidery is the closest thing you can do. And the next step after embroidery is actually making the clothes with a sewing machine or a serger, because embroidery kind of commingles with making the garment, right? Because a lot of people, garment decorators, say, yeah, I make t-shirts. And it's okay to say that you make t-shirts, but you're not really making a shirt. The shirt is already there. You're buying blank shirts and you're putting designs on a shirt. So you're a garment decorator. Even as a screen printer, you're not really making shirts. You're decorating garments. You're a garment decorator. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? And, you know, the lines gets crossed. It gets a little blurry. People say I make t-shirts, and you know, it's fine. You can say you make t-shirts, but like embroidery is the closest thing you can get to actually, I guess, kind of making a t-shirt-ish, because you're essentially sewing thread into the shirt. So that's kind of making a shirt, kind of, sort of, but you're still decorating a garment, but you're mixing threads now. So now it's getting a little more technical. That's why I said it's the closest thing you can get to before you start actually sewing pieces together and creating a garment.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, as I was using my vinyl machine one day, and I said, how can I take this thing to the next level? And when I would go shopping with my mom and stuff like that, like earlier on in my childhood, I would think, like, I would see stuff in stores and they would be embroidered, and those things, I always looked at them like, wow, we can't afford that. That's like, wow, you know, and you see the price tag, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. It's freaking super expensive. I'll never get that, right? So I started researching embroidery machines online. And like, how does this stuff get made? How do people put designs with a needle and thread and sew such intricate designs on shirts? Like, that has to be one of those things where these guys, or the gatekeepers, don't tell you the secrets of embroidery, right? So I started researching, and then I found this machine online called the Brother SE600. So I looked at this machine, I looked at a few videos, went on Amazon and saw how much it costs. I said, wow, you know, this is not that bad. I think I can get this thing. I think I can afford this thing, right? So I bought it, did an unboxing video, started learning about it. And initially, I thought like everybody else, because I get this question now. The level I'm at, I still get a lot of newbies, and they ask me, "Hey, can I just get this machine and put my design in the machine, and it'll make the machine and make the design?" That's not how it goes. But that's how I thought eventually. Initially, I
Yeah.
bought my machine and I had it. I plugged it up, and I'm ready to just put my design inside and just had a machine go to town. No, it don't work like that. So my machine sat for a nice amount of time, maybe like a few weeks, because I catch on to things pretty fast. Did some research, found out now that you have this embroidery machine, you got to learn how to digitize. You have to use digitizing software. And that's a whole nother hurdle that you have to get it over. So this digitizing software, by the way, is more expensive than the embroidery machine. Most digitizing softwares are, good ones are about $1,000 or more. But me being the person that I am, I went on eBay because I'm looking all around for digitizing software. And it's not something that's easy to find because there's not that many digitizing softwares. I found the software that I was researching on eBay. So I'm thinking to myself, why is it so cheap? Like, this can't be real. I don't understand. It turns out it was a pirated version of
Of the real thing.
of the real thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to get in the game, man. You got, when you limited resources, you got to do what you got to do. So I bought a pirated version. It came with the manual and everything, they sent you a digital download. I downloaded it and I taught myself how to embroider. I downloaded the manual and started reading it.
Yeah.
And, I saw there were a few tutorials online, but for the most part, I learned how to use that software by reading the manual. And that opened me up to offering digitizing services because I now knew how to digitize. And when when you teach yourself other skills inside of your business, those skills become businesses themselves. Because I tell people, like, you can outsource your digitizing, but you can also offer digitizing as a service if you know how to digitize. So now I've expanded my business and I've expanded the possibilities in my business. I can offer other services and I can have conversations like this. So yeah, it's important to learn different aspects of your business.
Yeah.
So, and also so you can grow your business, right?
Yeah.
If you outsource the digitizing, if I want to grow, I got to outsource the digitizing. So it'll free me up to do other things. But it's better that I know how to digitize because I know if that guy's doing a good or bad job, with my employees. So
So,
yeah.
so if I'm getting into embroidery right now, or I want to get it, I'm thinking about it. Like, what's my next three moves? You would say, like, what should I do? Like, next three moves.
Your next three moves would be, okay, figure out how much money you're ready to spend,
All
right?
right. All
And
right.
then that's going to dictate what your next three moves are because finances is everything, right?
Yeah.
Do I want to go single needle and buy a starter machine? Is it something I'm serious about? If it's something that you're serious about, if you have some money to invest, then you can go get yourself a multi-needle, which is going to future-proof your business, right? So, and there's different ways you can go about it. If you have good credit, you can finance it if you don't have the money. But if you have, cash in hand, you can buy it if you got the money. But you don't want to spend your capital unless you know it's going to give you a return.
Yeah.
So
What's a good amount to have in your head to like start off? Like 10,000,
11
5,000?
$11,000 is a good
Okay.
amount.
Gotcha.
And that I give you that number because I know Racoma has a machine that you can buy brand new for about $10,000 or $11,000, and it comes with digitizing software. So you're
Got it.
killing two birds with one stone right there.
That's a one head embroidery. That's a one head.
That's a single head. There's smaller machine called the EM1010. I have two of those. Yeah, so you can start off with that. That's be a solid machine to start off with.
Yeah. So from your experience, let's say, I mean, your business is pretty established and you have, I think an advantage you have like I'm not sure how your customers come to you, but your channel is pretty big. So that means you get a lot of eyeball, but somebody
Yeah.
that's just starting may not have that. Would you say that investment is worth it? Let's say somebody go out and invest $25,000, $30,000 on a machine. That person would make that back, in your opinion, through embroidery?
Definitely. I'll tell you why. Through any method of garment decorating, you're always going to make your money back. And I'll tell you why. Even if it doesn't happen fast, it's going to happen over time. Because when you're garment decorating, you're no longer going to go into stores. When you go into stores, you're going to look at clothing different. You're going to, instead of saying, "Ooh, that looks good, I want to buy that," you're going to go into a store and see something and you're going to say, "How can I make that?" So you don't want to buy it anymore. You now want to make it. So you start creating your own designs that's similar to the designs that you see in stores.
Yeah.
And you don't shop anymore. And essentially, by you not shopping anymore, by you not buying as many shirts, by you not buying as many, because let's face it, every time you go out and buy a t-shirt that's ready made, right? You're spending $30, you're spending $50, buy some designer, you spend $120, right? So now you're not doing those things anymore. So over time, even if you never sell one single shirt, over time, you're gonna make your money back because you're saving money, right? So that's one aspect to look at it. And what's going to happen automatically is a friend is going to say, hey, I see you make the, can you do this for me? Right? That's guaranteed that's going to happen. If a friend sees that you're doing something, or even if they come over your house and see your embroidery machine, right? Oh, what's that? Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me. Well, that people love custom stuff. People love personalized stuff. People love to be original. People love to be one of a kind. And if they see that you have something that's going to help them do that, then you got business automatically. There's that method, right? So you're going to sell stuff for your friends, for your family. And then I tell my people sometimes, my audience sometimes, if you're really concerned with making your money back, you can set your business up before you buy your machine, right? So you do your research, find out what you want to do, and then you start reaching out to your network, to your old high school and college friends. Find out who's a principal, find out who's a coach, get their logos, start getting that stuff outsourced and getting that stuff digitized and in place, so that when you get your embroidery machine, after you learn it, you have some possible clients already lined up, right? So really the only thing you need is about 4 or 5 repeat clients, like a few schools, a few basketball teams maybe. And if you get that repeat business, the money's just going to come faster and faster, and that little money adds up really, really fast. But
It does.
you'll be surprised every time somebody orders, hey, I need 12, I need 12 hats, I need 10 shirts. Okay, the high school might come to you. Okay, the parents are ordering, give them an order form or something. You got a whole school. That's like 100 something. You got more work than you got time, right? So you might have to outsource some of that work because you can't handle it, especially as a new embroiderer. So it's a bunch of ways you can make money. You can approach businesses, your local McDonald's, your local Pathmark. You can talk to the manager, talk to the GM and start, talking to those people and seeing if you can handle some of their embroidery. There's all types of ways, and you're, only as limited as your mind can, come up with ideas. So
Gotcha. All right. So that's awesome, man. And it is true. Like once you start everybody needs this, man. Like a lot of times you just have to put it out there. I got my first customer because they saw me moving my equipment into my shop. Like literally. Yeah, literally.
Hold on. Well, you got that. Oh man, like I need some. How much you charge for? Exactly. Yep, that's exactly how it goes.
Yeah, so it's almost like once you make that decision, it's like you talking to the universe, and the universe is just gonna come back and deliver to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right now it's almost like a cool thing to like be a creator, be an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And I want, because like there's almost this dark side of entrepreneurship, like
talk about it.
It's crazy, man. Let's talk a little bit about some of like the pains and struggle that you may have faced in your journey, stuff that you feel comfortable talking about. So somebody that's maybe thinking about getting into this, not to discourage them, but just to kind of
the reality.
Okay. Yeah. What is that, man?
So the reality is, starting off,
Yeah.
It's like everything else. It's going to be slow. It's, it takes a while to build up to the point where you're making enough money to sustain your living. But what I will tell you is that it happens faster than you think. Like if you go work for a company and you have your idea, your amount of money that you want to make so that your life to be comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Working a traditional job versus being an entrepreneur, I can almost guarantee you, if you put in the work, that you're going to reach that goal as an entrepreneur way faster than if you work your way up to that goal from company to company or through raises to the company, getting raises to the company that you work for. I can guarantee you that.
We're talking about money, right? Financial.
We're talking about financials, because let's face it, like when you're starting your business, a lot of people worry about finances, right? How am I going to be able to pay my bills? How am I going to have time to, do the things that I want to do, right? Spend time with my family. And as an entrepreneur, that's why it's also important to do something that you love, that you're passionate about, because you mentioned a lot of people want to be content creators, we want to, just do stuff like that in that field. What I say is that I use this phrase, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody because people don't have what I call the video stamina. You don't have the video stamina. Like, not everybody can edit videos. And it's one thing to learn how to edit videos, but it's a whole other thing to be able to consistently edit videos on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis, or however frequently you upload. And eventually, even if you are good at it, even if you do kind of like it, it still gets old. So most people can try it, right? But not everybody's going to succeed because it's not everybody's thing. I've been creating content for over 10 years, right? And I have over 1,000 videos uploaded to my YouTube channel, over 1,000. So, and I've edited all those videos by myself. And those are just videos that I uploaded, right? Because some of those videos didn't get uploaded because I didn't like the videos, or for whatever reason, it just wasn't right for me to upload the videos, right? I got edited videos that are still on my hard drives, that nobody will see. Music too, I got tons of music that I've never put out. So it's like, you have to have the stamina for it. You have to have the determination. You have to have dedication. You have to be committed, right? And not everybody has that. And that's okay, because guess what? The world needs workers. We need people to go and work a regular job and get told what to do, because not everybody's a creative. And you shouldn't feel like that's a bad thing. You shouldn't feel less of yourself if you're not that type of person, because you could be really good at what you do, and we need people like that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. No, that's awesome advice. Awesome advice.
yeah.
So what do you see like in the next couple of years for A-Dubb, for you personally? What are some of the things you're shooting for your
Oh
business?
man. So okay, a short-term goal, like a personal goal of myself, is to find a facility. And
Nice.
a few reasons, but my main reason for finding a facility, for having A-Dubb Production have an actual location, some space, is so I can hire an employee. I can hire somebody. And
Yeah.
to me, it's not even about growing the company and making it make more money. It's about giving somebody else an opportunity. It's about,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
giving back and creating a source of income for somebody else that might not have that, or might not be given an opportunity. Because and I want to, that's my main goal behind that, and that's my short-term goal. I want to do that this year. And I've been looking for spaces and looking for spaces and looking for spaces, to the point where now I'm like, look, I think I'm just gonna have to buy a piece of land and get a metal structure, like, those metal buildings.
Mhm.
That might be the route that I have to take, because like, for the square footage that I want, people are just asking what I consider to be too much money. That I'm more
Gotcha.
money
Well,
that I won't say too much money, but more money than I'm willing to pay.
how much square footage?
I want about 3,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
not
decent.
that much.
No, no, no.
That's
That's
a
a decent size. You
Yeah, I
could.
want 3,000 square feet, because
And so there you would do what you're doing now.
I would
Would
do
you?
everything. I would try to do everything out of there,
Okay.
which would consist of
Yeah.
video creation, right? Garment creation, right? Decorating my garments, creating and shipping out merchandise, so sales,
Gotcha.
right? So every storage of equipment and merchandise, right? Everything would be ran out of there.
Yeah. Are you thinking screen printing too, or that's not your game?
That's not my game, but I do want to dabble in that. I do want to dabble in it, because
Yeah.
I respect screen printers a lot, because like the amount of work that goes into like just making one shirt is, to me, is like, it's a lot.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
These are some crazy people, screen printers.
Yeah. But I do and look, as we say, it's these some crazy people. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do it too. But it's more for me just learn the art form, because if you
Yeah.
learn the art form, and all these different methods like are art forms. So don't get it confused. Don't get it confused, people. You're not just decorating garments. This is an art, right?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like you're creating art. I do want to learn that art form, because when you have these tools on your tool belt, it broadens your mind, and you can sit back and figure out other things that you can do to make your garments stand out even more, right? If you're limited, if you only know one specific method to decorate garments, your thought process is going to be limited because you don't know those other methods,
Yeah.
right? So how can I say this? Like a screen printer that knows how to use different inks might be able to come up with a method that makes screen printing more simple, or might be able to come up with an invention that simplifies the screen printing process. But if you don't know how to screen print, you can't be that person. You can't revolutionize that industry because you don't know that industry. You don't know that process, right? So if you know all the processes, that makes you even more powerful because now you can mingle the processes and create something totally new. You can be innovative. You can come up with ideas to make stuff look cooler, mixed media, all types of things that you can do. And yeah, it's I think it's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, good luck on that. And I'm sure you're gonna do your thing with that. So
Definitely.
I'm gonna be checking on your Instagram to see how that progress. How's that going to progress?
Next thing that we're doing on Instagram is we're going to be posting making t-shirts, not decorating t-shirts, but actually sewing t-shirts together with patterns and stuff like that. So that's coming up next on Instagram. So check for that.
Nice. Hey, what's one thing I didn't ask you that you want to share with the people? Something that may be in your mind or something that you think could be helpful?
Only thing I want to share with the people is my social medias, and that you should go ahead and follow me on YouTube if you are interested in garment decorating, because I everything that I learn put out back into the universe to help other people. Yeah. And my whole reason for starting going down this path is to help other people have another source of income, because having just a regular job, especially in today's climate, it's tough to get ahead. It's tough to even, keep your head above water.
And it's risky.
And it's very, very risky. So having a little bit of extra income coming in, or even like I said before, even if you're not selling your merchandise, you're saving money by not buying clothes, or you're just buying blanks and putting your own decoration on the apparel. That alone is going to save money, put money back in your pockets, especially if you have kids. I believe if you have kids, every parent should own a heat press and a vinyl cutter, because you're going to save tons of money. Kids grow out of clothes fast, right? So buy yourself a heat press and a vinyl cutter, and you can put your own, your family name on there, your kids' designs that they like, their favorite characters that they like. And now your kids are cool, right? And you don't have to break the bank and buy the latest stuff. Now your kids can come to you and say, hey, I want this now. And then okay, no problem. Got it. Done.
Yeah. That's so true, man. Cause like, we're probably not having this conversation now if it wasn't for our kid. And I say this because we started our business because, we're probably not having this conversation now if my wife and I didn't conceive our kid, right? And I say that because when she was pregnant, that's when the idea came to her. Oh, let's start this hobby to heat press like t-shirts and onesies for the kid that was coming out.
Yeah.
And when she came to me about it, I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to do this thing.
Yeah, so no, thank you.
But once I started helping her out and researching on YouTube, I was like, oh, this is cool. I can do this.
Cool, right?
Let me go do my thing. So that's how it all started. So
That's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear. But it's definitely important. So follow me on YouTube, A-Dubb Productions. Follow me on Instagram, A-Dubb Productions. Follow me on TikTok, A-Dubb Productions. And just do yourself a favor, because it's grown me to the point where I am right now. I'm an entrepreneur. I was able to leave my full-time job, and just by watching my videos and just me showing you how to use different equipments, you can supplement your income, or you can leave your job too. So
yeah, definitely A-Dubb Production. Go check that out. How many subscribers are you at now? And on YouTube?
As of today, 92,000.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So you're about to crack the 100 pretty soon.
Hey man, I can't wait to get that little plaque, man. That's like a YouTube goal. That's YouTube goals.
Let's go.
Next few months I'll get there.
Yeah. So if you're watching this right now, go and follow my guy, A-Dubb Productions on YouTube. Get him some extra followers. Just before we go, so I know you do some stuff with the impressions, folks. You was at Long Beach doing some stuff.
Yeah.
I just seen you in Atlantic City doing some stuff. Talk a little bit about that, what you do, and how people could support that.
So yeah, I was been introduced to the whole Impressions Expo by Stan Banks. Like,
Yes, that.
so Stan connected me with the staff, and they asked if I, wanted to come speak. And it's like a thing where I was kind of used to performing, but speaking is a whole different animal. Like it's weird. You would think that being on stage is being on stage, but speaking is like totally different. It's something that I didn't think that I could do, or I didn't envision myself to do. But when I did it, the guy was like, yo, you're like pretty good at this. So like, I enjoy going on stage. I enjoy telling people my story because I believe like it motivates them to do something, to get up and
Yeah.
pursue their dreams. And it's not as hard as people think it is. It's just,
And
you gotta take action.
you know what's important on those things in my mind? A lot of time is the content matters, what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but it's more the representation
Yeah.
and seeing that I'm like, I could be that person. So
Definitely.
I think that's what it's doing in people's mind when they see you. It's like you're just a regular guy, or a lot of times you look like them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
It's
that's
definitely
amazing.
important for them to see people that look like them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey man, A-Dubb, man, I appreciate you so much for coming through. So if people want to do business with A-Dubb, you guys want go follow him, all the social media, A-Dubb Production.
You can also reach out Allan at ADubbProductions.com, ALLAN at ADubbProductions.com.
There you go. Hey, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. Appreciate you.
Take it easy, man. Appreciate
All
you
right.
having me.